Ladies and gentlemen, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Grassroot Chats Feature Show. Of course, the same lads that we had from the weekend. How you guys doing? Neil wearing a retro English shirt. Of course, looking all fly. When did you get that? After the tournament?
Yeah, obviously got it after the tournament. Couldn't afford it during it. It took 3 weeks to arrive. I was scared.
Of course, you have Dunk in the wonderful black. I don't have no idea where he's wearing. Where's the Aylesbury top? It's gone.
It's gone. I have to put it back in its glass case.
In its glass case. I like
the
it.
Mighty
like
Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks.
Flying V.
Well, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you hear, what you see, please subscribe. Follow us on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And of course, our feature show that comes out every Wednesday, talking about what we want to talk about, whether we agree or not. And this week, we're going straight into the World Cup. After the wonderful international break, and of course, a lot of things happening for internationals, we are going to talk about, am I right to say, the first Winter World Cup ever to come? Qatar, from the 21st of November to the 18th of December. Now, my very first question is, let's not go into the, Qatar shouldn't have hosted it, political, yada, yada, yada. But, Dunk, how is this going to affect domestic football?
Well, there's going to be a huge break in the season. I think, in terms of the performances that the players are going to give, it should be good. Like, they should be nicely warmed up into the season rather than knackered at the end of a long season. So I'm expecting to maybe see some higher quality games from the players.
So I'm confused. So the season will start as normal. The domestic season will start as normal, and then there'll be a break. So the players that get picked for the country will obviously go and represent their country, and the other ones will just sit back, relax, and just watch some sport like everybody else, or they'll just be training and looking and going, okay, I should have been there. And then when the World Cup is over, how much break will the players actually went for their countries be given? Neil, you have any idea?
Firstly, it's the warmest winter World Cup on history. Let's be honest. We call it. I don't think we can call it winter for Qatar. I mean, it might be for Qatar, like 40 degrees. The only World Cup that I remember in my lifetime that was so warm was USA '94, where they introduced the breaks for drinks because it was so damn hot, right?
It was hot.
And this is going to be the same. So all those poor English base players that are going to be -3, 4 in Italy where it's -2 are going to go and sit in this blisteringly warm country.
What are you talking about Italy for?
Cold, right? It's going to be cold that time of year, right? Players playing in Italy, not the Italian players, right? And plus, I wanted to get a little dig in. We'll have to go to Qatar and play some football. I think it's going to be 2 weeks after the World Cup. They've got off as well.
That's it. 2 weeks. So 2 weeks after the World Cup. So you pretty much just started the league.
Doesn't it start a little bit early? I thought it started a little bit early this season. Only by like a week or two. Not like
so.
It's not like the pandemic early when we started the season in like May. But I think it is early. Those that won't be going, like the Leeds team, because they'll be relegated.
Rafinha, Calvin Phillips.
They'll be gone, man, if they get relegated, right? We'll be training and just having a rest off, right, for that. It'll be interesting because everyone moans about winter, right, in the Premier League it's so busy over the winter period. The congestion's ridiculous. Wow, that congestion's going to get busy in February and March. So spring's going to be ridiculous. It will be interesting. I think with all of the other competitions going along, it will be harder for the top teams. Seriously, that will have a Champions League run as well at the same time, as well as maybe still be in the FA Cup, League Cup. That will be tough for them, but they'll have to cope with it when they've got 25 players.
Yep. Doug, how much effect do you think this will have on the domestic leagues? Do you think it will actually, because as Neil has mentioned, a lot of congestion during the spring months, and I'm saying that, Neil, Doug, do you actually think so? It means that the season will start a tiny bit earlier, but then the players are given break, and then so what's going to happen is they're going to cramp everything between normal times come towards the end of May. Do you see that having a good positive effect?
I don't think it's going to have a positive effect on club football. No. So if they start early, so what they must be starting right at the start of August. So they've got 3 months before the World Cup starts. But yeah, it's obviously the better teams have more players at the World Cup. They're going to be affected more come the end of the season. So obviously, it's not going to have a good effect on domestic football. So, and again, like when you were just saying, like, what are the other players going to do? Like, there's no way the clubs will let them go out of form. So I would just assume that they'll be putting lots of first team regulars into the reserves fixtures to keep them fresh.
Well, so and then saying that though, it is the question I'm just trying to picture this. It's you have a player, say somebody like Salah, Egypt not qualifying, he would have a wonderful rest. It'll probably be his best season ever. He would be prime and proper marinated for the entire season. And then you have somebody like Mane, who plays constantly for Liverpool, that will go to Qatar with Senegal. And then he will come back and then possibly either lose form or play even wonderful, but lose his position. He said, I think it's a win-lose situation for certain players, especially with some countries not going. But we shall see what happens.
So just to clarify for everyone that is listening, it's a week before it starts, the Premier League, and then a week after it finishes. So it starts on the 6th of August, and then it finishes on May the 28th. They break up on the 12th to 13th of November, and they don't go back until Boxing Day. So there's six weeks, I think, give or take. So there's a little bit of a break. And bearing in mind that was only going to be, 4 teams that play for that whole time. The rest of them will be out early. So be interesting. That's a two-pronged opinion, though, JJ, with regards to someone not playing for that long. Now, they could be fresh, or the other end of it, they could be really not match fit, because 6 weeks is a long time out. That's usually longer than people have out for pre-season, right?
Yeah.
So what they have to
they
do
usually
pre-season
they
together?
usually rest for like what, a month, and then they're back into preseason, right?
Yeah, but they're always training, right? So what do you do for 6 weeks of a break? That's going to be quite a hard thing. Will they arrange friendlies for the teams that are playing?
I was going to ask that. Would there be friendlies? Would there be, of course, behind closed door friendlies and all that story? And then even before the tournament starts, I mean, before a World Cup, you used to have a lot of friendlies between the countries. So are they just going to stick to the international window before the World Cup starts, and for countries to actually practice to see if their formations and all that is going to work? I'm sure somebody has thought about all this working, but we're just trying to understand how it's going to happen. And well, we shall see. We shall see what happens. But now this is the time where everybody's picking their winner based on form. Yes, I know it's still a couple of months away, but it would be good if we can jumpstart and see exactly who we think might be doing wonderful things. However, certain things, I mean, Italy getting knocked out by North Macedonia, that was a big shock. Everybody was thinking it would have to be Portugal versus Italy in that playoffs final just to see. How do you feel, Big Dunk, that Jorginho feels now, considering the fact that he missed the last minute penalty to send Italy into the World Cup twice?
How do I think he feels?
Yes,
not very good.
I want to know your
really bad.
Do you think that affects his domestic game?
I don't know. I'd say probably players get over these things quick enough when they get back to their mind playing for the clubs. That was a pretty big shock, though. Italy going down to North Macedonia, they just had tons and tons of shots, couldn't score, and got sucker punched in the 90th minute. It's like it was a game of FIFA online. Just
it was terrible. And then of course Portugal beating North Macedonia. So all they did was just shoot down one team early.
I'll tell you what, though, as an England fan, you watch that and you just think, how the hell did we not put them away in the Euro final if we had more conviction about our team and play?
That's different timing, different situation, different form, I guess. Now the question that we have here is, I mean, we're going to look at the groups and see who is in there together and what's going to happen. But now, I mean, considering the fact,
can I ask a question before I know we've been taking the mickey a little bit on Italy not making the World Cup, but what's the team beginning with N that hasn't made the World Cup?
What, Norway? Oh, not Norway.
I'm looking through the flags and I'm thinking, oh, Ghana are there. They're a good team. Cameroon are there. Not a bad team. But Senegal are there.
Yeah.
But where's this? Where's the where the Nigerians? They're giving it a miss this year.
Well, the players had to be snuck out of that team as the fans stormed the pitch, and so the problem is, so the game ended in a draw, and everything was calm. Everybody was angry, and then the Ghanaian players decided to do a dance, celebrate, and then everything went wild. I don't even know who the fans were going to beat up. It wasn't the same Super Eagles players or the Ghanaian players, but well, Ghana qualified. I mean, technically, I don't support Super Eagles. They broke my heart many years ago, man. So I'm not. I left my heart somewhere, and supporting them was not an option.
That's
So
outrageous. Even I still support Aylesbury, even though they're completely non-league, and you're just giving up on them.
It's gone.
Oh no, they put tears in my eye. I was like, no, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen.
You wait until he drops United next season.
No.
When they get Ole back.
Unfortunately, I've sold my soul. But I mean, we are going to concentrate on. We'll look at the groups and then concentrate on England, since it's we're talking about English football. But Group A has Qatar, Ecuador, Netherlands, and Senegal. I mean, it's fair to say Qatar, thank you for hosting, but you're not going to go through. Any arguments with that, boys?
Well, it depends how much money they're playing with, right? That's going to be one of the issues on that particular one. Ecuador, Senegal. I mean, they could get through.
Well, Qatar.
Yeah, I mean they
No,
really could. Don't the top, because it's FIFA, right? Don't the top 4 teams from each one qualify and then gets into the knockout bit just to get some more TV money?
No, it's the top 3, and then the rest of them go in a playoff.
It's a death.
No chance.
That's one of the only that's one of the groups I like, actually, because I think Ecuador or Senegal are going through to the second round. So I would say over Qatar, Netherlands will be loving that group.
You can't take Ecuador out of that. Like they're all right. They're not a bad team.
I said Ecuador or Senegal. Yeah,
but I think
Senegal.
Okay. Sorry, I think if you look at that group and you say, well, it's going to be Ecuador or Senegal because they're probably a bit of a level above Qatar, are going through to next round. I think when you get games in knockout rounds against teams like Ecuador and Senegal, it creates a bit of excitement there. Like they could. They're those kind of that level of team that could always pull something off in a knockout game.
So it's fair to say that, I mean, you guys think Netherlands are going to qualify, and then it's between Ecuador and Senegal to join, right?
I mean, it does depend which Dutch team turns up, right? Because
they have been
they've been really good or really bad. Like there is no middle ground with them. They're either amazing and you're like wow, or you're like wow. You guys are really bad. So I'd still put a $5 on Qatar getting out of that group. If you're getting odds of any more than 10-1, that's some easy money.
Yeah, well, we shall see. I mean, I'm going straight up for Netherlands and Senegal. Those are my peaks from that group. And you guys are dancing around. Pick one. Stop dancing around.
I've got to pick 2 teams to go through: Ecuador and Qatar.
Yeah, Ecuador and Qatar. This guy. We only the good Lord knows what you're smoking, Neil.
If it's from Ecuador, you know what I'm on. And if you need the money from Qatar to be able to do the stuff from Ecuador, that's the problem.
And Dunk, what are you going for?
Yeah, Netherlands, and I'll go with Senegal as well. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to Group B. Ooh, England, Iran, USA, and of course it depends who Scotland plays between Wales and Ukraine. So that's actually a wonderful group, especially if Scotland goes through, which I think they will. So I think Wales beats Ukraine. Oh, sorry. Who does Wales play?
Other way around. Wales are in the final. Scotland.
Yeah, Wales are in the final.
Yep.
So Scotland. Oh, that's tricky now. So that definitely will be England, Iran, USA, and then Wales, in my opinion. And then it will be England and Wales that go through. Yep. Yep. Neil, is there you have a problem with that?
Oh well, I mean, you can't take the stars and stripes out of this equation. Wales, they've already peaked. Winning group games
Already picked.
So winning group games is peaking for Wales. I'm allowed to say this. I'm Welsh somewhere in my history.
It doesn't mean you're allowed to say whatever you might want to say. It doesn't mean that at all.
I'm wearing the badge proud. Yeah, I'm going to go England and USA. England won't walk it. We'll make it look really hard. Like there's 3 top other teams in that, and we'll probably end up drawing 2 of those and winning 1 and coming 3rd in the league. But I think we'll get through. Iran is the Americans like to call them. They're owned by Apple Store, just in case anyone wondered. Won't get a point, but you never know with the Americans. They've got some decent players, and they did well under Klinsmann,
Like who?
remember?
Like who?
Pulisic from Chelsea.
Chelsea, okay,
Yeah.
and
You said name one. I did.
and I said, well, name another one. Name another one.
Roy Regley, Harkness,
Who's Roy
Alexi
Ricky?
Lalas. I mean, how far are we going back? Do we want current players?
No, current players. Yes, current players.
Well,
what Neil is thinking, Dunk, or how do you see that group?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, JJ. I'm going to go England, and then whoever qualifies. Like again, they're all 3 European teams. I think they're going to be too strong for Iran and USA. USA just what did they? I'm trying to think who their last qualifying game was against the other day. It was like it was Costa Rica, and they got sent down 2-0.
They raised the flag saying we have qualified when they hadn't at some point. I mean, I don't know how that happened. But but staying with England though, I mean, there's this conversation about Southgate not picking players on form. I believe that he picks players that suit his system, and for example, that's why Big Harry Maguire continues to make the team. So now the question here, Dunk, is does Harry Maguire make the team because there are no other better centre backs, or this is just, as I've said, is based on Southgate picking him because he suits his system?
Yeah, he suits the system. I'd actually agree with Harry Maguire being in the England team. This is like separating club and country. So like, Neil agrees with me as well. He doesn't do a lot wrong when he's playing for England.
Yeah, but is that fair though? Is that fair on other players that might be in form?
Again, I think I said this before. Like, if you're Gareth Southgate, you can't just chop and change the team. You have to have a core. You have to have a system. You have to have players that fit with that system. You've got the freedom to bring in, a few fringe players who are on form, but you're going to be playing the people you've worked that system around. And again, like Harry Maguire's definitely done the business for England. Like I remember in the Euros when he came back from injury, he had a great game, and he generally had like a really good tournament. So I've got no problem. Like even though he's in poor form for Man U, of him being in the squad, that doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I'd probably want him there as like Gareth Southgate said, a squad player, part of the team.
So obviously Southgate has done enough to not be doubted or questioned in terms of his style and all that. But do you agree with Dunk, Neil, in terms of Harry Maguire making the team, even if he's sticking to the system, core players and all that?
Firstly, let's go back to the American squad. Timothy Ware, son of George Ware, I believe is American by some passport, and he will be on fire in the World Cup. Put a $5 on him scoring at least 3 goals against.
He's sold out. Then he should be playing for Liberia. Come on,
Libya, was it Libya?
It's Liberia. Don't be. Come on. Your geography is terrible. Okay. Can you answer the question now?
So, I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take him to play a kick around with my mates at the local leisure centre, right? It'd be like, why have you bought this guy? Like, nah, he doesn't. Has he played well in the past for England? Yeah, without a doubt. Is he one of those magicians that you think, he could turn it on a little bit at the World Cup? No, he's not. You don't take him under the think of, he is going to be this. No, he can't guide a Man United team to a win, and he's captain there. I wouldn't want him to captain he could captain a Titanic, but I wouldn't want him in the England squad at all. He doesn't deserve it. He hasn't played well enough for the club. I don't think he needs to be in and around the players unless they're looking to improve Harry Maguire himself. That's the only benefit to anybody is him. I want him far, far away, and maybe an Achilles injury or metatarsal a week before.
That's
would
just
be perfect.
terrible.
No,
That's just
it's not. Keep him
terrible.
away.
It's like you can keep him away. Doesn't mean you want him injured.
I do.
But then here's the question. Here's the question.
Either way, right?
So who would be your centre pairing for England?
Dele Alli.
If you don't, okay. I don't know what Neil is on, but Dunk, can you please answer with a serious answer, please? I don't know.
No, but I'm having Harry Maguire until he does something wrong for England. Like the good thing about Harry Maguire for England is the distribution and pushing it forward. We get spared this bloody left-right passing back to the keeper that like absolutely killed us all for the last 10, 15 years. So with Harry Maguire, he will like push forward and he'll give it some distribution in the field. And again, at England, he's not really made too many major mistakes. So I'm putting Harry Maguire in. I think Maguire and Stones, I'm quite happy with that. Like as a centre-back pairing.
Mings.
Yep. Mings.
White for Arsenal. I mean, he's having a good season. If you had White and Stones at the back, I'd be happy with that. Or Mings or Connor Cody. Literally anyone else. I'd bring Des Walker out of retirement. If it meant he wouldn't
the
be
Nottingham
playing.
Forest legend is that Des Walker.
I mean, he is. There's a legend for them as well, right? I won't take that away. I don't think he warrants a place. You can't go on past performances for England for it. What would you keep him in for, just in case someone gets injured? You can't play him. He's unreliable.
This is Southgate kept Henderson in the team, even if he was injured, and then he came on to have some good performances. So once again, he's picking players based on the system he wants to play, not based on.
But
form.
Henderson's winning stuff for his club.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's on form though.
Yeah, but he's proven for the club that he's still valuable. Like Maguire hasn't proven for United he's valuable. So like Henderson's still there or thereabouts for
I think
Liverpool.
he's proven, like in the last couple of tournaments, he's proven for England that he's valuable.
Yeah, but so is Gaza.
The Euros.
We can't bring Gaza back because he played
Gaza
well.
We're only talking 2 years ago.
Gaza is not playing now.
Yeah, but that's a long time in football terms.
Oh no, the Euros was last year, wasn't it? They delayed it a year. Yeah, it's only a year ago that he's been valuable.
That's how bad his form's gone. No, and it has drastically disappeared, and I think it's a shame because he was good for England. But I don't think it's worth risking unless you're going to play him against Iran just to get some confidence. But if he comes up against other teams that have got decent strikers and attackers that are going to be going, I wouldn't want him to be the last player in the team.
I mean, I did ask you guys what you guys thought about fans booing him for Man United. I'm going to assume it's going to be the same answer for England.
No,
but
no, it's not.
Ooh,
no,
it's not. Okay,
no, I don't agree with it booing the players for England.
Well, come on, you can't agree. You said that fans have a right to boo whoever they want to do. It's their money. But all of a sudden, they don't have the right to boo him for England. Why?
Yeah, for the clubs. Yeah, it's all about money for the clubs, for the country. It's representing your country. Like I think the argument is the inconsistency from Southgate. Great, boo Southgate then if you think he's doing a bad job. But I don't think he is doing a bad job.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dunk is standing firm with Harry Maguire and wants him to be in there. But we shall see. And now this is the last question in our group. Where do you see England get into in the tournament? Neil.
As long as Maguire and Pickford aren't in it, I think we could go all the way.
They're in it. They are in it all the way. You won't get rid of them.
And if they're in it, then I think we'll struggle to get out of the group. I think the potential for the England... I'm not saying that the football's taking a turn for the worse on the whole, but the England squad is a very, very good squad, even when you look at them individually. But I can't see that many squads. I mean, you take Italy like crashing out earlier. They probably would have lost against Portugal anyway. The fact that it was against North Macedonia is the big problem from that side. I don't think they'd get it anywhere in the World Cup now. I think they're too old. I think we've got a nice young team that's come through and bonded well together. Southgate's really seems to be good at that side of things, and that's probably one of the reasons why he doesn't like to break up who he's got on there, and maybe the reason why Maguire might come in. But when you look at that England squad compared to anyone else in the world, we're not far away. I couldn't name you a squad that has a better all-around squad than we've currently got, which I think's a great thing for us. And I don't think we have the best players that we've ever had, which is probably the sadder thing. We're probably at the worst goalkeeper time that I've had since I remember football.
Nah, come on.
Yeah.
Nick Pope,
centre backs. We're just talking
Henderson.
about centre backs. Like, definitely, we've had much stronger centre backs in the past.
I think we've had way better goalkeepers as well. We've always had top keepers, and we say like these other keepers, but they're not even the best in the Prem. When we had the best goalkeepers, like Seaman was there. He was like the best in the Prem.
Was he ever best in the Prem, Seaman?
The most consistent. I mean,
well, we shall see. If you say so, and that's a different conversation.
Arsenal were winning stuff under him. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, winning, big. Anyways, we shall see. We shall see how far England go. I need to check the odds.
You didn't ask me, JJ. You didn't ask me.
I did.
How far you didn't.
No, you
didn't. Ask me how far England were going.
I apologize.
You said how far would you go with the England team? That was a different conversation.
I was scared the way you stood by Harry Maguire. I was scared that you were gonna. So how far do you think England go?
Unless they get a real nasty last 16 game. Again, it's always the crux game in any World Cup or knockout tournament. It's always that quarter final because you're going to come up against someone good if the draw goes to plan. So I don't know. I'll put my money on. I'll say we'll pull off a big one and we'll get to the semis. We'll pull off a good result in the quarters.
There's always that conversation where people think, inexperienced players and younger players, especially when it comes to international football, can't particularly take your team or take any team as far as possible. But with England, the core crop of players, the Fodens and Saka and Mason Mount, if he gets in the team, they seem to be quite young. Do you think that's going to affect the progress of the team, or do you think, based on Southgate's approach of having core group of players, that should help?
I think that they've had some tournament experience already over the last couple of years, particularly with the Euros. So hopefully not. My big worry with England is just the mentality. Like the World Cup semi-final against Croatia and the game against Italy, I've seen that game before. It was 2004. It was Portugal. We scored in the first 5 minutes, and just cannot finish a game off and just panic and try and defend the whole game. Exactly the same game in those other two games. Just absolutely lost the plot to be able to do anything. No creativity in attack. Just, I don't know if it's a mentality thing that oh my God, we're winning. We might get through. Oh shit, that kind of thing. But I've seen that game before, so. There's definitely something endemic in the England squad that's been there over the last few years, which hopefully, I don't know, Gareth Southgate might be able to get it out of them, but remains to be seen. As long as I keep seeing those games, the same thing, the same pattern, then I'm not going to have any faith that we're going to go all the way.
I think that history was the problem where we couldn't win a penalty shootout, right? And then there was the mental block of we're not being able to win a penalty shootout, if you're wearing your wrong socks or you got your wrong pants on or something it's going to stop. I think game management is key. I think that scoring early is a problem when you've got that much nerves, and I think that was one of the things that was evident in the game, that the whole plan disappeared, right? Because they had a plan, and it was to, obviously it wasn't what happened. It was kind of score 1-2, maybe take your foot off a little bit rather than what had happened, or play to the end. I think that's maybe something that was quite nice to happen in the Euros, and it wasn't nice for all the fans. But if it happens in the Euros and we lost the final of the Euros, but we win the final of the World Cup based on the fact that we've got that, that would be nice. The young player thing, probably the first tournament where we haven't got a surprise. Okay, unless someone comes in September or August and sets the Premier League alight, like when Owen came in and Saka, he wasn't really well known, but everyone now knows all of the top class England players because they shone at Euros, right? So when we no longer have that, which is a little bit of a shame. There's no air of mystery. Suddenly we're going to have a player set the tournament alight that no one knows about. He's not going to be like Michael Owen when he said it at that time, was he? So
he's just waiting to see how many goals Solanke scores in August.
I That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Well,
we
shall see. We shall see what happens. We shall see what happens, and hopefully.
So here's a
England will go
question,
all
though.
the way.
Here's a question for you guys. Harry Kane is without a doubt the best England striker that we've had in a long time, right?
Okay, how long is long?
7 years.
Yeah,
I mean they were on their twilight, right, at that particular point.
Okay,
most of them.
all right, okay.
Coming along, right? So he's notoriously known for starting late in the season.
But he does well in tournaments, though.
Well, because when are the tournaments? They're always at the end of the season. So we've now got him at a time where he's notoriously never going to score, and he is going to be, without a doubt, our key player, right? So he's having a good end to the season, and
well, to be fair, he's notoriously known for not scoring in August, and after that, everything just starts. This season is a bit different because it didn't start well. Obviously, the whole conversation about going to City and his mindset not being there. If he avoids that, this summer and he has no distractions, and hopefully, I think he broke the August not scoring August jinx last season. So
yeah, but then he didn't score for like 3 months after. But are we hoping? Are we hoping though that he stays at Spurs in order to give him that continuity that we need for England? Or would it be nice for him to get a Man City finally and get his big payday and set the world like that?
Who's to say he's going to go to Man City? I mean, there are conversations he might end up at United.
Oh, you could have two Harrys playing crap at the same time.
I mean, that is a possibility. That right there is a possibility.
August is going to be poor if you sign him.
Oh, that would be amazing if we don't get rid of one Harry. But we shall see. So
where are we going? So I'm going England and obviously USA. You're all going with who for the group?
I'm going England, Wales.
Oh, yeah, England and the other European team that qualifies. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying it's Wales. Trust me. It's all right. Moving through the groups: Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Poland. That's Group C. Who do we have?
You've got to have the Argies, right?
Well, Messi's last World Cup. Let's see if he turns up and does anything.
I don't think they need him at this World Cup.
They do. The name is name is still frightening enough, and apart from him, he's just there as an inspiration or some sort of motivation. But they definitely need him. Any team needs him, whether he's out of form or not. You just need him to be there.
Paris Saint-Germain have proved that doesn't the case against.
Have you looked at his stats this season?
Yeah, but he's playing Sunday League football. He's playing with the best players. Like in Sunday League, right? Everyone's played against the Ringer team that was like not quite good enough to win the top flight. So they set up a new club, right? And then they go in the bottom league just to win everything. We've all played against those teams. That's what he is in that league. It's an unfair team to play against. They should be made to play in another league like Rangers and Celtic and.
He's got a better Argentina squad around him though. They won the Copa,
which is why I wouldn't put him in. Leave him out.
This is last World Cup, so I'm keeping it simple, man. Argentina.
Yeah, but with or without him, it's still Argentina, right?
True, but Argentina, Poland.
Neil's got to give his second team.
Poland are always good, but I do quite like Mexico. They've always got a good chance.
You like them as a team or a holiday spot?
Never been on holiday, but I've seen them play 3 times. True story. And I've seen Poland play 3 times as well.
Well, Messi's last World Cup, Lewandowski's last World Cup. So definitely I'm going Argentina, Poland.
If Messi doesn't play, he's already had his last World Cup.
Well, we shall see. Dunk?
Argentina, definitely. I'll go with Mexico. I threw my European hat in on the last group. So I'd say in that group, coin toss between Mexico and Poland. So I'll go with Mexico for that one.
Okay. Group D, France, Denmark, Tunisia, and then whoever wins between, is it UAE has to play the winner between Australia and Peru?
Peru has to play the winner of Australia and UAE.
Yeah.
Oh, well, regardless, man, none of them are going to go through. Regardless.
Do you remember the World Cup where France went out on the group stage?
Yep.
And they should have walked it, right?
Yep. That was 2002.
Yeah, and they've got
South Korea 2002,
and they all had the big egos at that particular one. And I think France have got the big egos again.
So the reason that they were actually the reason why they decided, you know what, that champions should still play qualifiers, because the excuse was, oh my god, they didn't play qualifiers, they didn't have competitive football, which I just thought was, they just got beaten by other teams. It has nothing to do with that.
It was
But
so funny though.
I see them. I mean, they have their. This is the once again a last World Cup for their current core of players. Hugo Lloris, Paul Pogba, the Griezmann, Varane, Kante. I think after this is them done. So I think they should go in strong. So France and
You don't
Denmark for
think
me,
Pogba's going to get another World Cup?
100%. He's like the first name on the team sheet. Deschamps loves him, man, regardless of
No,
how
no,
he
no. I
plays for
mean,
Man United.
you won't think he'll get another one after this.
No, that's it. It's 29. It's done.
We had a show about age.
No. But with Pogba, forgetting the age, with Pogba, I think it's a situation where he continues to play for France because Deschamps loves him. It's like Southgate and Harry Maguire. He will close his eyes and just go, yeah, Pogba plays. I also think Deschamps won't be the manager for too long for France, especially if he doesn't win this World Cup. It's because of the way they went out in the years. So if they don't win or go as far, I think he'll be done. And once he's done, teacher's gone. Teacher's pet has to go as well. Unless the new manager comes in and goes, yeah, I'll just do what Deschamps has been doing. And where would that take you? So I think this is Pogba's last. Dunk, who are you going for?
Yeah, two Europeans again, France, Denmark. England have had Tunisia on a few occasions now. There's never been any great games in there. Peru are probably likely to get the playoff, but again, they're well down the pecking order in South America. Denmark had a good Euro, so yeah, I'm going to go for France and Denmark on that one.
Okay. And Neil?
Yeah, the Socceroos, I don't think are going to do anything exciting if they get through. That's what they call them. That's right. It's
I know. It doesn't stop it from being funny.
Peru, you never know. Nobby Solano might come out of retirement and set the
What
world
is
on
it
fire.
with you and bringing up OGs and stuff? Is this that you having a midlife crisis or something? What is?
Listen, the football world is changing, and I don't want it to change. I want to go back to international superstars of soccer with Boggio and all the Ryan Giggs, all the players that weren't quite real. Denmark, they won something years ago. France, Denmark, they're going to be through on that one. I don't think there'll be any competition from Tunisia or Peru if they make it. There'll be harder games, and I think it'll be a harder games for the group, which will be nice to watch on TV. But they'll be ultimately the teams through.
Okay, Group E: Spain, Germany, Japan, and Costa Rica, New Zealand need to play. Dunk, how are you going for Group E?
Yeah, you look at that, and Spain got Germany. You're like, ooh, group of death coming up, and then Japan or Costa Rica and New Zealand. Like, no contest. That's Spain and Germany just walking out of that group. Again, that's with that group. Then that's one of those ones that's going to throw up a serious last 16 round tie for whoever comes runner in that group. Someone's going to have to play them. But yeah, definitely Spain and Germany.
I mean, Japan always comes up with some trickery, and you never know. They have their structure around their football or Asian football is hard work and non-stop running. And in the sun, it might be tough. Again, Germany has a current core of players that are looking to go, okay, this is my last World Cup and stuff like that. So you never know. Old legs or tough or, fluid legs against old legs. And Spain, as they have young players coming up, a bit like England, they have a lot of young players that are going to be dominating. But I think I'll go Spain, Germany. I'll go Spain, Germany. Just for the fun of it, I'll go Spain, Germany. But it's not shock me if Japan pulls up an upset. Neil?
I was just looking through the squads just to see whether Japan could pull it out of the bag with my knowledge of Lineker playing in Japan. That's about as far as as far as my knowledge goes on Japanese football. It's got to be Spain and Germany, right? Klinsmann hat-trick and Mendieta scoring a couple of goals for Spain.
You do realize that we might have people that actually watch this show that have no idea who you're talking about.
They'll be Googling going, who are these?
Don't mention Mendieta either. I still have memories of the Champions League semi-final against Leeds.
These players,
Mendieta.
These players that I'm saying, they can't be far off having kids playing for their teams, right?
Oh yeah, they probably have some of their kids. I will be going for this World Cup.
Yeah, that's an easy group for Spain and Germany, right? They'll probably play out for a draw, and then the other two will be the deciders. And depending on where the last 16 takes them, how important that's going to be in the last round, because it's a 32 stage World Cup, isn't it, this year? I think it's the last one before it gets even bigger next year with 166 teams and seven games and every hour on the hour, a pay-per-view.
Think of the money, Neil. Think of the money. It's going to
but Sepp's gone. We're no longer corrupt. All right.
Group F: Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. I mean, Belgium just lost their number one status after 4 years, lost it to Brazil. They also are a set of players that people think, oh, you should have won something by now. But it hasn't happened. It hasn't clicked. So could this be it for them this time? I mean, they will definitely qualify from this group, I think. Canada, I think, are just going for sightseeing. I don't think much is going to come out from that. And then you have Morocco, Croatia. Croatia, once again, always up to wonderful tricks and should be able to do a few things. But, I mean, Neil, who are you going to go for?
I'm just trying to think. Like you made a good point about Belgium. They did have great players, and they potentially should have won something, and they've all got old, and they're no longer there. So I look at the Belgium team now, and I go, I'm not worried. If I'm Morocco and Croatia, I'm no longer thinking that Belgium is good.
Yeah, but they still have very good players, though, regardless of how old you may think they are.
Yeah, but they're no longer the threat they were. And if they're that old in a 40-odd degree heat, I mean, it's got to give Morocco a little bit of a chance, right? Canada, minus 30 at that probably time of year. They're having a 70-degree swing, some of those players, of how hot that's going to be. I mean, they're probably not playing in the Canadian Football League if there's one. But it's going to be Croatia and Belgium chocolate.
Okay.
Belgium chocolate.
Dunk?
Yeah, Belgium definitely walking out of that group.
Walking. Carried. They're old.
Easy.
Walking because they can't run.
Like, look at it. They've only, where have they fallen to the rankings? 2, 3? Like, you're talking as if they've gone down to 50. So yeah, but Belgium definitely going through. I'm looking at the other three. You probably fancy Croatia. I'm going to curveball one in here. I'm going to go for Canada. Exciting young team, did really well in qualifying. I'm going to go for Canada as a nice little curveball there, just to not be boring.
All right, cool. We shall see. I mean, you have spent a lot of time as a Leeds man talking about Rafinha. You have Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. Cameroon had a good African Nations Cup hosting. I mean, even if they finished third, have a rising star. Well, he's not rising. Abubakar has been around for some time, but he had a very good tournament. And you have Switzerland that, Captain Xhaka in there. And of course, Serbia and Brazil. Brazil is now the number one team in the world. They knocked Belgium out of the first position. It's a tough group. It's actually one of the toughest and most balanced groups so far. And Brazil Neil has been pointing out the old boys, the OGs from the back in the day. And of course, the Brazilian teams from back in the day used to be frightening. But when you look at the Brazilian team now, I mean, Rafinha is in the Brazilian team. No offense, a good player. You have Richarlison, you have Fred. I mean, when you look at the players, oh my God. I mean, I'm sure these other teams can look at them and go, yeah, they're not what they used to be in the past. I mean, probably the brightest star for Brazil is the goalkeeper in Alisson. However...
Yeah, but imagine how worried he is looking at his defence in front of him. At least at Liverpool, he's got defence, right?
Hey, Brazil have got a decent defence these days.
They've got 4 players that didn't make it to play up front, playing a centre back. No one wanted to be centre back or fullbacks, right? Dani Alves will probably still be in the team at 39.
I mean, he's still playing for Barcelona and still playing well. The man is playing. I mean, if he plays in the World Cup, it would be no surprise. But I mean,
They'll be all right, Neil. They've got Roberto Carlos, right?
Boom. I was going to say Cameroon have got Roger Miller.
It is definitely Brazil, Serbia for me. Group G.
I like the way you said it was a hard group. I look at that and go, "This is probably the easiest group of saying that Serbia and Brazil, right?" I've not even gone any. Yeah, like it's the easiest group. Serbia, well disciplined, great defense. Probably walk it against Brazil with the lack of defense. Top the group, and then Switzerland and Cameroon will get a point each because they'll play each other, and that will be it. Useless. Switzerland. I mean.
They're one of those teams though that normally pull off some results in tournaments. Switzerland. What was their big one in the Euros? Can't think of it now. Who did they put
against
out?
France?
Yeah, there you go.
Came back.
Yeah,
draw 3-3, and they won on penalties.
They're one of those annoying teams that are hard to get rid of. Well, definitely Brazil. Again, going to walk that group. Switzerland and Cameroon. Again, they're middling teams. I'll go with Serbia as well.
And we come to Group H, where you have another group that is very well balanced, in my opinion. You have Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. Now, South Korea, as I said, Asian teams, they will run non-stop. They'll make you work for that win if you do get it. Uruguay always come up. They've always had a history or tradition of creating wonderful strikers. They just know how to move. But then Cavani and Suarez still could be their top strikers. I mean, they're still playing.
Firstly, this is the only group where you can sit there and go, I can mention all the players from my youth. Yeah. Okay. You've got Ronaldo, Cavani. I mean, literally, they're still playing and they're like, 90? Compared to everyone else, it's
combined age of 72.
It's ridiculous, right? That they're still, but they will still be the talismans for both of their teams.
Of course.
Without a doubt. But you're right. This is probably the most interesting group of all of them for who's going to come second.
This definitely is Ronaldo's last World Cup.
Wow, we say that. He'll probably be at the next 6 knowing him.
In the next 6. I mean, he has already come out to say, when it is me that decides when I'm finished. It is me and no one else. That heat in Qatar is going to finish you, son. You're finished. But there's Portugal, there's Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. I think Portugal is a team, they have good players, but you never really see them dominating. Yes, they are European champions from 4 years ago. But, I never get that, I'm going to dominate a game kind of feeling. But this group looks nice. I think I would go Portugal, Ghana. I think Ghana will have their revenge against Uruguay from the last World Cup. To Portugal, Ghana. Dunk?
Yeah, I'll go with Portugal. Again, they're a good tournament team. Like you said, they never really dominate or put teams away seriously, but they're a good tournament team. They got a good mentality for that. England have come unstuck against them a few times over the last few years. The other teams, again, that's going to be close. Maybe heart over head here. I'll go with Ghana as well. Everyone just wants to see them just get one over on Uruguay. Portugal, Ghana.
Portugal, Ghana. And Neil?
I'm going to go with Wolves plus Ronaldo. They're playing together all the time, right? And I think Uruguay will just falter that one through. It is only the top 2. There's no third place runners up, is there, in this World Cup?
No. From 32 teams, they can't afford to do that. That money thing, as you guys have described it. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's Group 8H. The Bloods have picked their teams that they think will qualify. Neil has taken us back down memory lane just to make sure that the OGs are given a mention. I mean, this is going to be a World Cup with no Mo Salah, who's arguably the best player in the world. So we shall see. Does this mean he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or next year?
No, but it means he doesn't win the World Cup.
Yep, there you go. Okay, but just to end this wonderful future show, I'm going to just put the boys on the spot and simple. Dunk, pick a winner for the World Cup this early.
Brazil.
Like
Neil's saying about it, Brazil actually have a defence this time round. They actually have a defence. Obviously, they got flair all over the pitch.
I'm going to come out of retirement. There's no way that you can go by as Dunga.
Used to always get him in Football Manager.
Okay.
Cafu.
Dunk goes for Brazil. And Neil?
England. All day, every day.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
England,
they will never let me
England.
down.
You know
Of
he
course.
will play Maguire and Pickford.
Mhm.
And anyone else you hate, he will play them.
Just to annoy, he phones me as well just before the World Cup.
And Phillips, because he's a Leeds player. You know, just
I like Phillips, but he won't be at Leeds next season. Remember, Leeds are going down, and so Phillips will leave.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is our feature show for this week.
What about you?
What about me?
Well, who are you picking? We can't just pick. There's only two of us. Come on.
Well, I could. No, you know what? I'm gonna go. France.
Oh, France.
I'm gonna go France.
It's Pogba's
Last
fan,
call
isn't
of players. Last call players.
I don't know if Pogba will pull it off without Maguire behind him. Not sure about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I say goodbye to these boys and have a few days where I don't have people going against Man United. So till next time, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show. Please subscribe, hit all those buttons, follow us on our platforms, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Until then, big dunk, thank you for being in the studio. Say goodbye to the people.
See you later, guys.
And of course, the OG, Neil. Say goodbye.
Take it easy, everyone.